Toxic relationships can be incredibly draining, often leaving us emotionally exhausted and unsure of how to move forward. As women, we are often raised to prioritize others, to be nurturing, patient, and self-sacrificing, which can make it difficult to recognize when a relationship is no longer healthy. We might feel trapped in cycles of emotional turmoil, questioning whether we're overreacting or making too much of the situation. But Stoicism teaches us that our peace of mind, dignity, and well-being should always come first. In this video, we'll dive into the powerful principles of Stoicism and how they can guide you in recognizing when a relationship is toxic, how to manage your emotions, and ultimately, how to walk away from a relationship that no longer serves you. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how Stoicism has helped you. Chapter 1. Recognizing the toxicity. Recognizing a toxic relationship is often the hardest part of the journey toward healing, especially when emotions cloud your judgment. In the beginning, toxic relationships can sometimes feel like a roller coaster, with moments of happiness intertwined with pain, manipulation, and control. Over time, these unhealthy dynamics become normalized, and you may start questioning whether it's you who is overreacting or misinterpreting things. The key to breaking free from this cycle is recognizing the toxicity for what it truly is. This requires the clarity and objectivity that Stoicism encourages, facing reality as it is, not as we hope or wish it to be. When you take a step back and assess your relationship, start by asking yourself some hard-hitting questions. Are you often feeling emotionally drained after interacting with your partner? Do you feel disrespected, belittled, or unsupported, even in moments when you need emotional comfort the most? These feelings of depletion and resentment are signs that something deeper may be wrong. In a toxic relationship, your partner may use manipulation, guilt, or control tactics to maintain power over you, leaving you confused and questioning your own worth. Perhaps you notice your boundaries being repeatedly crossed, your opinions dismissed, or your needs ignored. These are all clear indicators that you might be in a toxic dynamic. It's important to understand that recognizing toxicity in a relationship is not about placing blame or pointing fingers. It's about accepting the situation for what it is. This doesn't mean you've failed or that you're weak. On the contrary, accepting the truth about your circumstances is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, while you may not be able to change your partner's actions, you can control your response to them. Recognizing the toxicity within your relationship is your first step toward regaining control of your emotional state and your future. Acknowledge that this step is not a sign of failure, but a powerful realization that you deserve better. Denial can keep you locked in unhealthy patterns, making it harder to break free. Stoicism teaches us the importance of facing difficult truths head-on. In fact, it is the acknowledgement of discomfort that allows us to move toward change and growth. By recognizing the toxic behaviors in your relationship, you're already on your way to reclaiming your peace of mind. You can now shift your perspective, focusing not on trying to change the other person, but on taking action to protect your own emotional health. As you go through this process of recognizing toxicity, it's crucial to trust yourself. Trust that your emotions are valid and that the things you've been feeling are not just in your head. Your feelings are an important guide that should not be dismissed. When you acknowledge the unhealthy patterns in your relationship, you regain the power to decide your next steps with clarity and confidence. In the end, recognizing toxicity is an act of self-respect and an opportunity for growth. It's the foundation upon which you can begin to rebuild a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. This is where the true Stoic mindset comes into play, facing life's challenges head-on, acknowledging what you can and cannot control, and taking action in a way that honors your inner peace and well-being. You have the ability to regain your sense of self, and it all starts with recognizing the toxic dynamics that are no longer serving you. Chapter 2. Understanding what you can control. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea of focusing on what you can control and letting go of what is beyond your influence. In the context of a toxic relationship, this wisdom becomes especially powerful. It's easy to feel helpless or trapped when your partner's actions, words, or behaviors are constantly affecting your emotional state. But Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the behavior of others. What we can control is how we choose to respond to them. This realization is liberating because it shifts your focus from trying to change your partner to focusing on your own actions and mindset. When you're in a toxic relationship, it's natural to feel frustrated or even desperate at times, wishing you could change your partner's behavior or their attitude. However, the Stoic approach teaches that this is a futile and exhausting pursuit. You cannot make someone else change unless they are willing to do so. Instead of wasting energy on attempting to control your partner, you can regain your power by focusing on what is within your control, your response, and your decisions. By practicing emotional detachment and distancing yourself from your partner's actions, you allow yourself to regain control over your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. One of the first steps in this process is to remind yourself that your self-worth is not dependent on someone else's behavior or opinions. In toxic relationships, partners often attempt to manipulate or undermine your confidence, making you feel as though you are less than or inadequate. But your value is inherent and not tied to the opinions or actions of others. No one has the power to dictate how you feel about yourself, unless you allow them to. Recognize that you have the power to choose your own emotional state. Your happiness, peace, and self-esteem are ultimately in your hands. The next step in reclaiming your power is taking ownership of your emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your feelings, but rather acknowledging them and choosing how to respond. For example, if your partner's actions trigger anger, resentment, or sadness, the Stoic approach is to examine these emotions without judgment and then decide how to act. Are these emotions guiding you toward taking a positive action, or are they keeping you stuck in a cycle of negativity and frustration? By responding with self-awareness, you gain the power to act in a way that aligns with your values, rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. Setting clear boundaries is another crucial part of taking control. Toxic partners often push your boundaries, whether it's emotionally, mentally, or even physically. Stoicism teaches that you must protect your own mental and emotional well-being, and one way to do this is by setting firm, healthy boundaries. These boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but rather limits to protect your peace and prevent further harm. Clearly define what is acceptable behavior and communicate these limits assertively. If your boundaries are violated, it is up to you to take action, whether that means distancing yourself, seeking support, or even ending the relationship. Finally, Stoic principles encourage us to take steps to actively protect our mental and emotional well-being. Practicing mindfulness, meditation, and journaling are powerful tools that help you maintain clarity and emotional balance. By taking time each day to reflect, practice gratitude, or simply check in with yourself, you reinforce your ability to stay grounded no matter what external challenges arise. These practices help you focus on the present moment and prevent your mind from getting caught in cycles of worry or negativity. As Marcus Aurelius once said, The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By consciously choosing to control how you respond to external circumstances, you regain your inner peace. This is your path to empowerment, the realization that, while you cannot change or control your partner's behavior, you have complete control over how you navigate the relationship and how you protect your emotional well-being. When you focus on what is within your control, you rediscover your strength and regain your sense of self. You are no longer a passive participant in your own life. You are the one steering the ship, choosing how to respond and which direction to take. By taking ownership of your emotions and decisions, you begin to live with purpose and clarity. Chapter 3. Practicing emotional detachment. In toxic relationships, emotions can often run high, and it can feel as though you're constantly caught in a whirlwind of guilt, fear, and overwhelming emotions. These emotions can cloud your judgment, making it difficult to see the relationship clearly and objectively. The pull of love, guilt, or even a misplaced sense of duty can make it hard to accept the reality of the situation. Stoicism offers a powerful tool for navigating these intense emotions, emotional detachment. But it's important to understand that emotional detachment, in the Stoic sense, is not about numbing yourself or shutting down your feelings. Instead, it's about observing your emotions without allowing them to control you. This practice allows you to respond to a situation thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively from a place of fear or guilt. The Stoics believed that suffering often arises from our attachment to things that are outside of our control, whether that's our partner's behavior, other people's opinions, or external circumstances. When we attach ourselves too strongly to these things, we give away our power and become victims of our own emotions. In a toxic relationship, this attachment can keep us trapped in unhealthy dynamics, often leading to feelings of helplessness, confusion, and emotional pain. Practicing emotional detachment helps us step back from this emotional chaos, allowing us to regain control over how we react to the situation. One of the ways to begin practicing emotional detachment is through logic and self-reflection. Instead of reacting to your partner's actions with a rush of guilt, anger, or fear, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is staying in this relationship aligned with my values? Is it contributing to my personal growth and well-being? Or is it draining me and holding me back? This introspection is a core Stoic practice. The Stoics taught that our judgments about situations, not the situations themselves, are what cause us distress. If we begin to view the relationship through the lens of our core values and ask ourselves whether it is serving our growth, it becomes easier to detach emotionally from the attachment that might keep us stuck. By practicing emotional detachment, you stop allowing your partner's behavior to dictate your emotional state. This detachment is not about being cold or indifferent. Rather, it is about reclaiming your emotional independence. You learn to recognize your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them, giving you the clarity to make decisions that are in your best interest. When we step outside of the emotional chaos, we can see the situation more clearly and make choices based on what is best for us in the long term, rather than being driven by immediate emotional impulses. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." In toxic relationships, our minds often run wild with imagined scenarios. We fear the worst outcomes, worry about the consequences of leaving, or become paralyzed by guilt for wanting to walk away. But these imagined fears often have no basis in reality and only serve to keep us stuck in a toxic dynamic. By practicing detachment, you can separate the irrational fears and attachments from the reality of the situation. you begin to see the truth more clearly. Staying in a toxic relationship may be more damaging than facing the discomfort of letting go. Emotional detachment also allows you to make decisions that serve your long-term well-being, rather than making decisions based on short-term emotional impulses. This might mean setting firm boundaries, having difficult conversations, or ultimately, walking away from a relationship that no longer aligns with your values. Detachment frees you from the emotional pull of fear, guilt, or obligation, and puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. In practicing Stoic detachment, you are empowering yourself to take control of your emotional world. Instead of being controlled by your partner's behavior or your emotions, you are choosing how to respond to the situation. This doesn't mean you'll never feel hurt, but it means you won't be ruled by those feelings. Detachment allows you to act with wisdom, guided by your core values and long-term well-being. It's about making decisions that are aligned with the best version of yourself, free from the chains of unhealthy emotional attachment. When you let go of irrational fears and attachments, you open the door to living a life of greater peace, freedom, and fulfillment. Chapter 4. Building Strength and Resilience. Walking away from a toxic relationship is often one of the hardest things we can do, especially when we feel emotionally drained, uncertain, or fearful of the unknown. But Stoicism teaches us that adversity is not something to avoid. It is the very crucible in which we forge our strength. Every challenge, no matter how painful, presents an opportunity to grow and become stronger. This concept is central to Stoic philosophy. It's not the obstacles themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. Walking away from a toxic relationship may seem overwhelming, but it's in these moments of difficulty that we have the chance to build resilience and fortitude. To rebuild strength after leaving a toxic relationship, start by reflecting on your core values and the person you want to become. This is an important exercise because it helps you reconnect with the things that truly matter to you, providing a solid foundation from which to grow. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What qualities do I value most in myself and in others? This reflection allows you to gain clarity about your personal goals and the life you want to build. It helps you remember that you are not defined by the toxic relationship you've left behind, but by the choices you make going forward. Engage in activities that nurture your growth on every level, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of discipline and continuous self-improvement, and this is especially crucial during a time of recovery. Make time for activities that contribute to your well-being, whether it's pursuing personal development, taking care of your physical health, or focusing on emotional healing. This could mean setting aside time each day for meditation, journaling, or engaging in exercise. Journaling allows you to reflect on your thoughts and emotions, creating a safe space to process your feelings and gain perspective on your journey. Meditation helps you stay present and grounded, reducing anxiety and increasing your emotional resilience. Exercise, whether it's a daily walk or an intense workout, not only improves your physical health, but also strengthens your mental resilience. By taking care of yourself in these ways, you begin to reconnect with who you are beyond the toxic relationship. You reaffirm your value and reclaim your power. Strength comes not only from facing difficult situations, but also from nurturing yourself, from choosing to put in the effort to become the best version of yourself, even when the road is hard. In addition to these self-care practices, it's essential to surround yourself with supportive people who align with your values. Positive, loving relationships with friends, family, or even a support group can make all the difference. These people can remind you of your worth, offer guidance, and provide the encouragement you need during challenging times. Being around those who truly care about you and who understand your journey can help you feel less isolated and more empowered to move forward. Another crucial aspect of building resilience is remembering that healing is not linear. It takes time, and it often involves setbacks. Stoicism teaches us that we are not defined by our failures, but by our ability to keep moving forward in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This powerful quote reminds us that every obstacle we encounter on our journey is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. Every step you take toward healing is a victory, no matter how small it may seem. When you choose to face the discomfort, the pain, and the uncertainty of the unknown, you are building the inner strength you need to move forward with confidence and resilience. The process of rebuilding your life after a toxic relationship may feel daunting, but it's also a time to rediscover your power, reclaim your sense of self, and move toward a brighter future. Remember that you are not alone in this process, and that by embracing the challenge, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. The Stoics teach us that we have the power to shape our own destiny, and that through hardship, we can find our true strength. Every obstacle can become a stepping stone toward a better version of ourselves. Chapter 5. Taking courageous action. After recognizing the toxicity of the relationship, gaining clarity about your values, and rebuilding your inner strength, the final step is to take courageous action. This is often the most difficult part of the process because it involves stepping into the unknown and making a choice that could change the course of your life. Walking away from a toxic relationship isn't just a matter of strength. It requires deep courage. It means acting despite the fear, guilt, or uncertainty you may feel. Stoicism teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward in spite of it. This concept is especially vital when it comes to ending a toxic relationship, as fear can easily keep us paralyzed and stuck in unhealthy dynamics. The fear of the unknown is one of the strongest emotions that can hold us back. What will life be like without the person we've been with for so long? What if being alone feels unbearable? These thoughts can create a storm of uncertainty and anxiety. But remember, courage is not about erasing these feelings. It's about choosing to act despite them. You may feel guilty about hurting your partner, especially if you've invested so much time and energy into the relationship. But it's important to recognize that you are not responsible for their happiness, and your own well-being must be your priority. You deserve a life free from emotional abuse, manipulation, and disrespect, and choosing to walk away is an act of self-love and self-respect. When faced with the decision to leave a toxic relationship, Stoic philosophy encourages us to act with clarity and purpose. This doesn't mean making a rash decision in a moment of anger or frustration, but instead approaching the situation with thoughtful consideration. Develop a clear plan before you take action. This might involve seeking support from trusted friends or a therapist, creating a safe space to leave the relationship, or setting firm boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. Taking these steps ensures that you are not only emotionally prepared, but also practically ready for what lies ahead. It also allows you to take control of the situation rather than being controlled by it. Fear often keeps us stuck in situations that no longer serve us, but the Stoics remind us that the only thing we have to fear is not living a life true to ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This powerful quote teaches us that the real danger lies in staying stuck in a toxic relationship because of fear. Choosing to walk away from what no longer serves us is an act of bravery. It's about reclaiming your life, your peace, and your future. Though it may be uncomfortable, walking away is often the only path to freedom and personal growth. Taking courageous action may feel difficult, but it is necessary to move forward. The discomfort you may feel is temporary, but the rewards of reclaiming your emotional health, your peace of mind, and your sense of self-worth are immeasurable. It may take time to heal and adjust, but every step you take away from the toxicity brings you closer to the life you deserve, one filled with respect, love, and inner peace. Embrace the courage to act, and know that by doing so, you are making space for a brighter, healthier future. You are capable of more than you realize, and as you take this courageous step, you are setting the foundation for the life you were always meant to live. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we always have the power to control our own responses and decisions. Walking away from a toxic relationship is not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of strength, self-respect, and immense courage. By applying Stoic principles, recognizing reality as it is, focusing on what we can control, practicing emotional detachment through logic, building inner resilience, and taking courageous action, you can reclaim your peace, dignity, and freedom. Remember, you deserve a life filled with respect, personal growth, and joy. No one else can dictate your happiness or worth. Stay strong, stay stoic, and know that you hold the power to heal, move forward, and create a future that aligns with your deepest values. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Your support means the world, and I'd love to hear how Stoicism has impacted your journey.